Welcome, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the All In podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Eli Cooper, joined by my other co-host, Mike Badzik. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, what's up, man? Another episode. Excited to be here. We got a new logo behind you this time.
Yeah.
New podcast logo.
New logo alert.
That. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. New logo for our specific podcast. And as you can see, Mike is still rocking the All In Network logo, which this podcast is brought to you by. So thank you guys for tuning in. Coming off our last episode, first time on YouTube, had a very good, amount of views, and still a lot of you guys tuned in on the audio versions as well. So thank you guys again for all the support so far. We got some, exciting new things to talk about as well. We mentioned at the end of our last show, we have All In with Rain and Bliss, which is a new podcast coming to the All In Network. They will be airing June 16th. So make sure you guys follow them on Twitter at All In Rain and Bliss, and get updates. They'll be releasing like previews of their shows and things like that shortly. So stay tuned for that stuff. Mike, what else do we got going on?
Well, we've also got the website, allinnetwork.net, where we've got our articles we're posting. I had wrote one about white privilege last week with everything going on, and then you just wrote one about Drew Brees and his comments and why they're so problematic. So those are both really, we put a lot of thought into those. So if you want to go check those out, we'd appreciate it. The people that have checked them out have given us good feedback. So we like that. And then we're also, this week, probably I'm going to have our first NBA drafts big board posted on there. So we're going to be doing that kind of stuff. We're going to do the rankings. I'm going to post my big board. And then Wednesday's pod, we're going to do our first mock draft for the NBA draft. So you can look forward to that. We'll have Eli. Probably we'll have a guest on. So we're looking forward to doing that. We're going to kind of do a fake lottery and do a mock draft. So we're excited about that. That's going to be on the website. So a lot's going on with the website as well as the podcast and the YouTube page and all that.
Yep. Speaking of guests, today's guest is a special one. He is a fraternity brother of my dad's. He has a cool new book out called My Cash Value is King, and he's here to talk about it here today. So let's bring in Jeff Moore. All right, so we're back, and here he is, Jeff Moore, here with us to discuss. Yes, the Jeff Moore is here with us to talk about some stuff. So first, we want to get into, there's a lot that's been going on around the world, especially following the unjust murder of George Floyd in Minnesota. And, it sparked a lot of controversy and even some change so far. Not a ton, but a little bit. All four of our officers have now been charged, bumped his murder charge to second degree. So, that's kind of where we wanted to start first, Jeff, is, what's your, opinion on things that are going on and, your perspective on, what's been happening lately?
Well, first of all, thank you guys for welcoming me on your podcast. I take it as an honor. One of the things I would like to just start off and say is, it's a tragic situation, how that all went down, and more devastating, the fact that we were able to watch it. And it made me think about how many other people, how many other Black men, how many other Black women were tragically killed, and we didn't have the video. So, much has changed, much has not, but I'm very encouraged. I'm encouraged because this is the first time in my lifetime that I've seen a diverse amount of people come together for one cause. And I think that's the most powerful message, is that we are the human race. It's not a Black race, It's not a white race. It's not a Hispanic race. It's not a Chinese race. It's one race. It's like the human race. And it's like we need to get back to the biggest problem, the biggest incident, the biggest issue that's plaguing America right now. And that's the lack of compassion. We don't have any compassion. Compassion is like eroding the earth right now. And that is the thing that I'm most concerned about. And that's the thing that I feel that we have this moment of time, that this moment of time right here, right now, that we can seize the moment as a collective people to introduce compassion back to humanity.
Mm-hmm. And I agree 100%. You know, I think that's like, you know, the biggest like surprise to me is how much I don't know if we want to call it a narrative, but like how different things have been like, you know, over the last 4 years. I don't think like we would have seen something like we saw Tuesday with the Blackout Tuesday thing and as many people, you know, saying Black Lives Matter and things like that. And, you know, that used to be.
One of the things that we got to do as Black folks, we can't fall for like the banana in the tailpipe.
Yeah,
right.
And, you know, we get row. And then, you know, a couple of days later, you know, things get back to normal. And then racism gets to, you know, rear its ugly head all over again. Because we keep falling for the same tactics over and over and over again. So that's why I'm encouraged that the younger generation, that your generation, will not make some of the mistakes and some of the same mistakes that our generation made, because we, in some regards, was complacent in our action. Whereas I'm like really encouraged with the young, with the generations Y and Z, because you guys are like, nah, I'm not taking this no more. And you guys are like, I want to do something to change. I want to use whatever voice I have, whatever platform I have. I got to do something, because I know that I'm one person and I can make a difference. I love that kind of energy, and I love that kind of enthusiasm that I'm seeing happen on a daily basis. And I'm encouraged by that.
Yeah, and this kind of does feel a little bit different than some of the other protests we've had in the last. I mean, really going back to the Ferguson protest, that was like a really big one. But then this, it kind of feels a little different. And when you go to these protests, so I was at one of the protests, and you know, it's 50% white people, 50% black people. It's a collective thing. I think everyone's kind of on board. And where I really think it's different and has a potential to make a lot of change, like you say, is I'm not sure that we're going to be able to remove this from our mind anytime soon. When you watch the video, it's so tragic. It's a modern day lynching, right? And we're seeing it before our eyes. There's no way that we are just going to move on from that so quickly.
I think it's worse than a modern day lynching, in the sense that that officer murdered him with no regard, and he didn't even care that it was being recorded. He had no regard for anything. He showed no remorse. He showed no decency just for humankind. I mean, like, how could you erase that imagery out of your mind when someone just operates in such recklessness? Like, how do you get over that? Like, what do you tell your kids?
Yeah.
Like, what do you tell your coworker? Like, what do you tell the people that you have relationships with when they watch that brutal killing?
Yeah, and it's devastating, man. And
honestly, I understand the kind of pain that man went through too before he died. To have all of the blood circulation cut off from your heart and all the oxygen eliminated to get to your brain. You die in a terrible way. That is a terrible way to die. So you're right. We shouldn't let that imagery leave that image, and that should give us the extra fuel to continue to fight to end this demonic thing that we are living in called racism.
Yeah. Well said.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing that we have to combat in this is like the financial aspect of it. You know what I mean? Like this is more than just, you know what I mean, getting regular people to not be racist. It's like, you know what I mean, Black people becoming more financially literate and putting their money behind this and getting more Black owned business and supporting those things. So, you know, talk about that a little bit to, you know, what the Black community can do more, you know, from a financial aspect to kind of, you know, do better in this and kind of combat, you know, the whole systematic oppression that we've, you know, been facing.
Absolutely. And that's when I was saying that, you know, we can't fall for the banana in the tailpipe, because the banana in the tailpipe has been, we march, you know, we make a little bit of noise, and then we take out almost $7 trillion that we are spending in the economy, and we keep feeding this system called racism. So if we want to stop this system called racism, we have to, one, get control of our dollar back. Because when you understand what America was built upon capitalism. America is built on greed. America is built on a dollar. So you got to hit America with a system that America operates on. And that is in the money. That is in the pocketbook. That is about getting control of your dollars and about having a collective action. Is about having a collection, a movement to have your dollars to do the things that you needed to do for your sustainability. And that's the issue that I don't want us to lose focus of, because we have this buy Black movement, but how long is it going to last? You know, the last time we looked at history, when we had to get control of our dollars, it was during the Montgomery bus boycott, and we in essence kept control of our dollars for 381 days, and we basically forced the system of racism to crumble because it didn't have our dollars. So if you want to really fight and be effective with racism, you got to get control of your money and stop feeding the system of racism. Just like, case in point, the NFL realized it had a problem when Drew Brees talked, right? So when Drew Brees talked, said, oh, well, you know, I ain't even going to repeat the nonsense that he said. But when he said it, you know, the collective dollar voices of in the NFL, which is stars, they was like, yo, if you don't make some changes and do some things and combat the issues that he's talking about, then we're going to have a problem, because we might take our dollars and we might take our talents and we might take our skill sets and we might make it difficult for you to make money. And then what did the NFL do? Say, whoa, don't mess with the money.
Right.
Don't mess with our money. So what do we need to do so we can combat this issue so we don't mess with our capitalistic dollars? And what did they do? They came out and issued an apology. They came out and said, hey, we got it wrong. They came out and said, please forgive us. So if you want to have an impact, you got to get control over the money that fuels the system that we live in. We have so much power in our dollars, we can eliminate our problems overnight if we collectively used our money as leverage. And that's one of the things that we have been slow to do. That's the thing right now we're getting quote unquote woke about right now, is how we're going to use our economic dollars to make racism go away. Because if you understand the system of capitalism, you gotta kill the root of what spreads the white privilege, and that is control over the dollars. Black folks are the only folks right now that don't have no control of the dollar. We substantially take care of every other race of people without economic clout. We have the latest statistic that I remember is the 7th largest economy in the world. Not in America, but in the world. The 7th largest economy, but we have nothing to show for it. We don't have no ownership. We don't have no influence. We don't have no clout. We don't utilize it to mobilize in the political system. We don't to utilize it to build better schools for ourselves. We don't utilize it to build better political affiliations for our people. So that's the thing that we need to get the literacy about, so we can understand what's going on with our money, so we'll know what to do. So if we want to be in a movement to collectively eradicate this thing about racism, you got to hit the system that makes the system operate. and that is the MONEY, as you young folks affectionately money.
Yeah, and I think that's a great point, and it's to kind of transition a little bit. It's like it's a lot of what your book is about. When especially in the early parts, you talk about your upbringing and how that impacted what you learned about money growing up versus what
North Philly, right?
learned. Yep.
North Philly in the house. That's right.
I liked how you put it. You said I'm from the real hood, not the rap hood.
That's right. The real hood.
Yeah.
Nanko Street, 22nd Montgomery Avenue. It don't get no more realer than that.
Right.
Yeah. So so talk about that a little bit. And what you had to go through in order to gain that kind of financial literacy.
Well, I tell you, growing up, I ain't even gonna say I grew up poor. I grew up, we had the other O and the R on the upper two O's and an R on Landway. You know what I mean?
Right.
We had to work collectively just to get the poor. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And it's funny because it was times, I'm the youngest of 8 kids, and and oftentimes, the upbringing and the money situation, it didn't flow as it was supposed to flow because we didn't have the information that when we got the money, what we should do with the money when we got it. And it wasn't because that we were, no one ever really gave us a game plan on when you get the money, what you do with the money when you get it. So it had a perpetual cycle that we got into lack that immobilized us to kind of experience the kind of financial joys as a family that we wanted, because we didn't know any better. We didn't have any blueprint. We didn't have a system. We didn't have any kind of process that we were supposed to take our money through that we can kind of enjoy the kind of benefits or enjoy the fruits of the hard work that my parents had to do, mom and dad had to do to bring money in the household. So that was the first and the foremost, the biggest thing. And then when you grew up in a situation when you were in a depressed area, that kind of magnified things, more. But I was fortunate enough that I played chess, and chess took me out the hood. Chess gave me some exposure. Chess showed me some different things that how money lived, I would like to refer to it as, and how other people with money live. And that sparked an awakening in me to say, yo, life is bigger than North Philly. Like, life has more opportunity than North Philly. Like, North Philly is going to give me my street grits, but North Philly is not going to be able to give me the financial grits that I need. So I need to get some exposure, and I need to get some learning, and I need to get some understanding, because if you want something that you never had, you got to be willing to do some things that you've never done. So I kind of got indoctrinated with, and I can remember one thing that my dad told me as I was starting my first day of school. I was the youngest of 8 kids and the first kid to go to college. And I remember when my dad dropped me off at Penn State, he said, I'm not coming back up here till you graduate because the ride is too long, and I don't want to be driving through all of these little hillbilly towns. I can remember him saying that. And the second thing he said to me was that you're going to discover your genius when you take your book skills and you mesh them with your street skills. He said, that's when you're going to become unstoppable. So go up here and get all these book skills that you need to learn, and then you mesh them with your street skills, and then you be able to be the change and be the influence that you want to see in the world.
Yeah, and it, like when you mentioned there that it's all about making money, and then you don't really know what to do with it when you get it. Like, that's one of the tough things about when you're young. So, and you talk about this in your book, but what are some of the worst and most dangerous lies and misperceptions that the media portrays that you think are?
How much time you got? How much time you got?
The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
I'll tell you one thing that they tell you to do. One of the biggest lies. I mean, one of the biggest hustles, one of the biggest misnomers that they tell you guys to do is fund your 401k plan. That is one of the biggest hookups that the government has brainwashed and the financial institutions have brainwashed people that they're going to have a sizable nest egg for retirement. So when you understand what's going on, you know what to do. So let me take you back a little bit on why the 401k first got started. The 401k plan was started back in the late 70s, early 80s, 1978 to be exact, if my memory doesn't fail me. 78, corporations wanted to give their executive an incentive to kind of save money on taxes. So they came up with this 401k plan because the top tax bracket was over 70% back in those times. So the tax bracket was over 70%. I'm gonna say that again, over 70%. So every dollar that you made back in that time, the government was like, yo, you got me for 70% of that money. But I'm gonna give you some write-offs, I'm gonna give you some deductions that you can lessen that bite with. So the 401k was really an incentive for executives to kind of save tax money in the 70s to defer it at a later date, because they said when you get the money back out on the deferral, you're going to be in a lower tax bracket. Taxes were high. So now, fast forward the clock, 40, 50 years, taxes are at the lowest point that they've ever been in American history. So why would you defer taxes on money that you want to make now to an unknown tax bracket, an unknown tax rate in the future, and the government is in almost $26 trillion in debt? Why would anyone in their right mind do that strategy? Why?
Well, we're told to, right? Like, that's what they tell us. They say, hey, sign up right now, 401k, how much you want to contribute.
You know what the biggest problem that mankind faces right now? Man doesn't think. Because if you thought about it, if you just thought about what I just said to you, why would you defer money into the future to an unknown tax bracket, and the government is in $26 trillion of debt, and the government's primary source of income is taxation? Like, why would you do that?
Yeah, that's another thing you talk about in your book too is, and when you do that, you kind of, it's almost blind. You don't even know what's going on with your money. It's something you talk about is keeping control and keeping it visible.
You lose all control because that money is not even yours. You got to go beg and petition the government to get your own money. Think about that for a minute.
Yeah.
You created this whole big pile of money for the government, and then, oh my God, you got a real estate deal that came on, and you need some money that you got to get access to it, and then you got to go get permission from the government to get your own money. And guess what? If they gave you your own money, they're going to penalize you for getting your own money. And then you're going to have to pay the taxes. So like, when you think about that, where's that a good strategy? Like, where does that make sense?
Yeah.
So why do people do it?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, and I think if you think about it, like the pandemic kind of exposed the flaw in that as well. I mean, I know just amongst like people I know, a lot of people like saw their 401ks like dropping a significant amount, you know, with everything that was going on. And it kind of was like, you know, I thought this was supposed to be stable. You know what I mean? This is where, you know what I mean? When I was supposed to be putting it here because this is what you guys told me to do.
Let me give you some game right now. You ready for this? This free game alert right now. You remember that little thing? Who was it? DJ Khaled. Free game alert right now, right? The 401k is nothing more than legalized gambling. You assume all of the risk. Let me say that again. If you're funding a 401k, you are legally gambling. It's like you down in Atlantic City on a roulette table, or you at Vegas and you at the blackjack table and you got 17 and the dealer got a face card showing up and you don't know if you need to hit or if you don't need to know if you should stay. That's what the 401k is all about. And the financial institutions love it because they get the opportunity to collect all of the fees and pass all of the risks to you. It is the biggest hustle going on in American society right now. Hustle. Yeah. Hustle. Yeah. Financial. Hustle. Yeah. I know y'all can understand that kind of lingo, right? It's a hustle.
Oh yeah. All right.
I'm just trying to get you to understand what's going on so you'll know what to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
it's more than one way, you know, to acquire wealth and accumulate wealth. And the 401k is not the only way, but it's the way for more Americans because Americans, one, don't think, and number two, Americans are lazy. They got caught up in the, I'm just going to have it deducted right out of my check, and I ain't got to worry about it. I can just set it and forget it. No, it don't work that way.
Right. So what are some alternatives then? If I'm not going to contribute that out of my check, where maybe should I be putting it somewhere else?
The best place you can put your money, the absolute best place to put your money, especially while you're young. You guys got young, you got time on your side. The best place to put your money is in listen to me now. Permanent, whole life, cash value, dividend paying life insurance from a mutual company. And here's why.
Say that again. All the whole thing again. Let me write that down.
The best place to put your money, the absolute best place to put your money is in cash value, whole life, dividend paying life insurance from a mutual insurance company. And here's why. The life insurance company, who is the granddaddy of all financial institutions. When I tell you the granddaddy of all financial institutions, it's like life insurance is like the Rose Bowl. You know how they say the Rose Bowl is the granddaddy of all bowl games?
Right.
Like that's the best bowl game to get invited to because they started this whole thing. And what happens is that an insurance company is going to say, we want to make some money. We're going to give you a dividend. We're going to share every dollar that we make with you. And we got a history. We got a track record of over 100 years of giving and making money. When the Depression happened, we made money and we paid it to our policyholders. When World War I happened, we made money and we paid it to our policyholders. When World War II happened, we made money and we paid it to our policyholders. When Y2K, remember, you guys are young enough to remember Y2K.
Oh my God.
Hey, we made money and we paid money to our policyholders. 2008, when the stock market crashed and everything went to hell, the federal government had to bail out the automobile industry, the banking industry. They bailed your mama out, your daddy out, your cousin out. They bailed everybody out. But guess what? The granddaddy of them all made money and they paid it and shared it with their policyholders in a dividend. So they saying is that whenever we make money, you're going to make money and it's risk-free. You don't have to be looking and legalizing and gambling with your money. We're going to give you a guaranteed interest rate. We're going to give you a guarantee that we're going to put money in your account every year. And as we make more money, we're going to share more money with you. It is the best place that you can put money because it has no risk. No risk. And then as you build the money in that plan, you have access to that money and you don't have to call the government and ask them for permission to get your own money like you do in your 401k. You can use that money to go and buy something. Hey, stock market fell. Oh, you got some money in your cash account. oh, you can take that money in your cash account and go buy some stocks while the stock market is low and get that money back and then put the money back in your account so you can use it again. So when the real estate market comes, you got a cash account that you can utilize to go buy some depressed assets. It is the best place that you can put your money because it's guaranteed to perform. You get a contract that says, we make money, you're going to make money, and we got receipts. Insurance companies got receipts. You know what they say? Oh, I'm coming and I'm bringing receipts.
Yeah.
They're coming and they're bringing receipts. They're like, yo, we got receipts. What's up now? Let me see your receipts, 401k. Let me see your receipts. So that's why I believe that's your foundation. But you gotta have some things in play as well. And that's why in the book I have this rule called the 10-10-10-50-30, 50-20 rule. That's the process of when you make money, how you make money, how you keep money, so you can borrow money, so you can have money to spend throughout all aspects of your life. So you got to cop the book and you got to you mark that joint up. You graffiti that part of the book because that's going to be the process that's going to get that money on your side of the coin and not on the corner of the side of the financial institution. Because when you understand what's going on, you will know what to do. And that's what I'm passionate about, is getting all of you guys to understand what's going on with your money. Because as you get more understanding and more power and more control of your money, you'll be able to position that money so it can be on the side that's going to be helping you instead of position your money like a lot of people are doing right now that's hurting them.
Yeah, it's an absolute must read for anybody tuning in right now. I had my chance to read it. My dad actually got the book first, and as you know, your frat brother Rob Cooper, it was actually his idea for us to bring you on. And as soon as he read it, like the first thing he was telling like me and my brothers is like, yo, like invest in life insurance, you know what I mean? Go get life insurance, especially while you guys are young, you know what I mean? Because you'll get the best rates then and things like that. And
you'll get to have that compound interest work in your advantage. It's like you get interest on top of principal and interest on top of principal. Man, the longer you have it, the better it gets. But I want to make one correction for you. It's not an investment, because you can't lose money.
True. Good point. Yeah. So go ahead, Mike.
I was just gonna ask, like, if Coop didn't have any more questions about the book, so something that I think young people, like when I have conversations with us, like a lot of us just graduated college and we're making money for the first time, you know, and comes with that is we have a lot of debt, right? Student debt, you know, whatever. You buy a car when you graduate, and something me and my wife talk about a lot too. So how do you kind of manage? I want to save money. I want to be throwing it at these, you know, life insurance accounts, but I also want to pay down debt. Is there a formula you use, or maybe that's in the book? You don't want to spell it.
I look at it like this. A lot of people make the mistake where they pay everybody and then they try to save what's left over.
Right.
And you got to flip that. Like when you get money in, your first thing that you need to do is you need to position your money so you can be in a place where, like, you go back to the 10-10. The first 10%, you tied off for that first 10%. And that next 10%, you go to pay you, because who are you working for?
You.
Who you work for?
Myself, really.
So why are you paying yourself last?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
So when you get that debt, you know, the second thing is you got to, when you look at that 10-10-10-50-20, that's going to be the blueprint on how you're going to eradicate the debt that's in your portfolio right now. Because a lot of times we don't have a problem with paying off bills. We have a problem with overspending. A lot of us each month, we overspend because we don't have tracers or trackers on our money. Because we just spend, and then we look up and we like, damn, where my money at? Where all my money go?
Yeah.
You understand? So then you trying to save money after you done paid all your bills and then pay your student bills, student loans, and then you got a little bit of money that you're trying to get left over, and it doesn't work that way. So you got to get your budget fine-tuned. You got to make sure that your living accommodations when you got your rent or you got your mortgage, that's got to be no more than 50% of all of you got to allocate 50% for your house and your transportation and your food. You can't overspend on the necessities, because if you overspend in the small categories, it's going to eat up and it's going to put additional financial pressures on the big categories, and that's the debt. And another thing I like to say is you have to employ all avenues of getting out of non-deductible debt. Non-deductible debt is your enemy. That is your financial enemy, because if you have a credit card and you got 15% interest rate on that credit card, every month that you carry a balance on that credit card and you give that financial institution that 15% interest, you lose the right, because you're carrying that balance to earn interest on that money that you pay in the financial institution forever. It's gone. So you want to be able to put yourself into a situation that at the end of the month, you pay off what you spent, and you got to control your money that you don't overspend in areas that you accumulate additional debt. I just read a statistic right now that says Americans are in over $100 trillion of credit card debt.
Wow.
That's a lot of money. So you got to get the rent out of your money management, and that's debt. That's non-deductible debt.
Right.
That is the enemy. And not paying yourself first is the enemy. Those are the two biggest things that I would like to tell young Americans after you get your whole life insurance, is to pay yourself first and do any and everything to suppress your lifestyle to get out of non-deductible debt. You don't need to be hanging out with your boy going to happy hours every Friday. You don't need to be doing it.
Right.
You ain't gotta be going out to eat to lunch at every restaurant for lunch 5 days a week. You don't have to do that. You got to get control over the money that's coming in under your management. Because here's a financial principle: once you get control over the money that you have under your management, you'll get some more.
Right. More free game.
Yeah. And, the other thing that I wanted to touch on, that as far as the life insurance and putting your money into that is it's kind of a way that you can help combat, the unjust killings and things like that we have. So could you go into depth a little bit about like how
could you imagine if all of the people, I can't remember how many names, how many peoples and killings that they've been in the last 5 years, but could you imagine if all of them had a large sizable amount of life insurance on their lives?
Yeah.
Do you think the insurance companies will call the police department and be like, yo, y'all messing with my money over here? Don't you think that will become a financial advocate for you? That they will start to change some of the laws and use some of their influence and use their lobbyists to petition to make laws in favor to help protect them and the people that they serve? The problem is we don't have that. And then our families, not only do we suffer the emotional grief, then we suffer the financial grief, because there's no replacement of income that's coming back into the family.
Yep.
So on one hand, we're dealing with all this emotional trauma that we're dealing with having a senseless murder. And then on the other hand, we're dealing with the economic trauma, because the money, the income replacement is one of the factors and the features of life insurance. And what it serves is to replace income is gone. So the insurance companies will place a demand on the city governments, on the state governments, and the federal governments to stop messing up their money.
Yep.
So that's why I carry human life value. I can't get no more insurance on my life right now. And human life value is nothing more than economic replacement. It's salary replacement, that if a cop tried to take me out of here, my family just had to deal with the emotional grief, but they would not have to deal with the financial grief. And then they will have the money to go out and hire the best attorneys to go out and serve justice on my behalf.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can't lose with the cash value life insurance I use. It is all around protection. It's going to force the insurance companies to be a financial advocate for you, for your family, for your community, for your business. Whatever you involved in, they will be automatically forced to be a financial advocate on your behalf, because they are going to make a contract to do what it's going to make it. How you young guys say, it's going to make it do what it do.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, you know, that's really the biggest part of the book, you know, is getting into that and the benefits of it and things like that.
And another thing too, it starts with mindset. We talk about the book it's really broke down in 3 phases. It's broken down into mindset, it's broken down into money, and it's broken down into cash value life insurance. Because you got to have the mindset to be able to have a new attitude and a new perspective on how you're going to view your money. Because as a woman thinketh, so are they. So you're only as good as the thoughts that you put in your mindset. You're only as good as the things that you tell your subconsciousness. You're only as good as the words of life that you speak to yourself about yourself. That is the foundation. The mindset has to change, because the mind is the most powerful thing, and I am are 2 of the most powerful words that you can ever have, that you can ever say about you. So the mindset is the most important thing. I start my day off with affirmations all the time. You know, one of my favorites is that I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that money comes to me in increasing magnitude, multiple sources on a continuous basis, over and over and over. I say that to myself every day, because that's the mindset that I'm putting my mind in, that I'm putting me in a position to maximize my thoughts, because your subconscious doesn't know what you're telling it, if it's right or if it's wrong. The only thing it knows is what you tell it. So when you're planting seeds into your mindset, make sure you're planting something positive in your garden and not something negative, because you want to have the harvest of the words that you say to yourself. And that's why the word, the Bible that we live by, says that, you know, that the words that you speak are out of your mouth speaks life and speaks death. So which are you going to start to speak? You speak life, and you think about life as the same thing. You put those thoughts in your mind. You put those positive things about you in your mind, in your subconsciousness, and you repeat it over and over and over. I have different affirmations on mindset, different affirmations on money, different affirmations about things that I need to get accomplished in life to help me to achieve my goals, my dreams, and my desires.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the book, is all the affirmations you had at the end. So that's another reason to buy this book, is all of those, and they're really helpful too. And you know, maybe it's gonna have to be something that you do repeatedly. It's like wake up in the morning and read these affirmations.
I am great, brother. I'm successful. I'm an outside the box thinker. You know, I got good energy. You know, I have a positive attitude. I'm peaceful. I got good energy. You know, you just say these things to yourself. I'm going to be the first millionaire in my family. You just say these things to yourself over and over and over, and watch how your life starts to change. I'm going to develop a strategy that's going to make me some passive income. I'm going to have more money than I have bills at the end of the month. You got to start to talk to yourself like you feeling it. What you say to yourself when you talk to yourself matters.
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%. Can't change anything before you change your mindset first. You have to put yourself in that mindset. Yep. 100%. Yeah.
So
it
it was a great book. My cash value is king. Building a tax-free income now for financial legacy later. I read it in one sitting. I'm probably going to read it again and again and again to keep keeping those things in my mind. I got mine on Amazon. Where else can you get a copy, Jeff?
You can get it off of Amazon, and if I'm waiting on some copies. I got some special copies made that people will be able to autograph. That I'll be able to autograph for people if they want to have a personal autograph. They'll be on my website as soon as I receive them. My website is morestrategy.com. That's morestrategy.com, because you need more strategy in your life. And I'm a great strategist because I'm a chess player. So I'm always thinking about strategy and how to help you to maximize your money and how to put you in a position that you can use your money on the board so that you can win the game. And that's the game of being able to keep control over your money till you take your very last breath. So that's what that's all about. You can follow me on my Facebook page, which is Jeff Moore, or you can also follow me on Instagram, which is at Jump for More Success. And I'm sure you guys will put all that stuff into your show notes.
Oh yeah, all of it.
Yeah, we'll certainly do that. And I got to say myself, it's absolutely a must read. Again, agreed with Mike. I read it in one sitting as well. I got the paper copy. I got it downloaded onto my iPad through the Kindle.
And I just want to jump in. I wrote this book specifically so it could be an easy read. I didn't want to give any complex like financial jargon to get people lost. I just wanted to make sure that you get 3 big things out of the book. The 3 biggest takeaways is like, yo, get control of your mindset. Like, your mindset matters. Like, you are what you think about. Like, yo, that is so critical. No, and then after you get your mindset together, get control over your money. Get control of how to make the money maximize and work for you. And then as you get the money, the best place to put the money that's going to protect your money, that's going to grow your money, that's going to accumulate your money and be the most tax favorable for your money is cash value life insurance, because you can't lose with the cash value life insurance I use. Those are the 3 principles and the 3 biggest takeaways that I wanted everyone to get out the book. And it doesn't matter if you're 8, if you're 80, if you're dumb, blind, crippled, or crazy. That's an old school reference. I know you young boys don't know about that right there, but it's cash value life insurance, baby.
Yep. So, and now we have a little bit of time left. So,
Come on.
At being a North Philly guy, can I assume you're a Philly sports fan as well?
Come on, you know, I'm all Philly all day, every day. I'm a four-guy lifer. You know, I rock with the Phillies. I rock with the Flyers. I'm a big Eagles fan, but the Sixers are my real team. That's my big heart.
Yeah.
So I'm a 4-for-4 guy.
Yeah. So, quarantine for them at least is ending pretty soon. I think league starting back up July 31st. You think the Sixers have a chance?
He sounds like a Philly sports fan.
Oh my! I've made that sigh so many times in my life.
You know what the Sixers remind me of? The Sixers remind me of that girl. She's so fine. Like, yo, she like the bomb.com. But she just get on your doggone nerves.
Yes.
It's just like, But I really think, I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all. I'm a diehard Sixers fan. I love the Sixers like crazy. I go to a lot of games a year, but I don't think we're gonna win it until we get rid of our coach. I think we got the wrong coach for this team.
I agree.
Yeah, Brett Brown.
I don't think our coach have the right type of tenacity to kind of get the guys to go from being good to great. I think he can keep them to be good. Like we could go to the playoffs and we might get lucky if the ball bounced the right way to go to a championship series, but that's about it. I don't think that the coach has the tenacity or the mentality or the grit to push these guys to go from being good to great. And that's what you need. And I think there's a lot of things about, I don't think the Sixers, the way we are constructed right now, have the mindset to be great. And I think that's the reason why we lost Jimmy Butler, because he looked at these guys and said that we don't have the mindset to go from good to great, because our leadership at the top of the board don't have it. And that's why he did it. And I feel like Embiid is going to be the next one to leave.
Yeah. And, speaking of Embiid, I think him and Ben Simmons kind of they both want to dominate the paint. And I think that's like, some of the things they haven't really figured out how to play together. Do you think there's a point in time where they can coexist?
No. You can't have a 6'10" and a 7-foot dominant premier players. Like, where do they show me any team in the NBA right now that has that component?
Yeah.
Where do you have a 6'10", 7'1", like, I'm gonna work on fade away 3-pointer. I'm gonna come down and pull up from the 3, like switch. Where you set at?
Yeah.
And I think that comes from the top. I think this hybrid kind of oh gosh, I forgot the coach name. Don Nelson. You remember Don Nelson? They used to coach,
yeah.
And they used to have this like this fun gun kind of offense kind of thing. Like it was sexy, but it never win you the game. When it comes down to defense wins championships, and you got to be able to have the grit to go to the next level to say, all right, I'm gonna put an exorbitant amount of pressure on this top player to make him have to work extra for him to get his, but at the same time, I'm gonna get mine as well. I just don't think that we just got that kind of coaching philosophy that's going to do that. And you having a 6-foot and a 7-foot guy on the perimeter trying to make hay is clearly demonstrative of that. I would really like, but I don't think it ever would happen because I don't think we have the assets. But I would really like to see if the Sixers can pull off a trade and get Damian Lillard here to run the team. And I would be willing to give up Embiid or Simmons in the trade for that, because you can't have 2 postmen that are 7 foot that's dominating on the outside. You just can't.
Yep.
And I don't know why. Can you guys enlighten me? Because I've been trying to figure this out. I just don't understand what was the big fuss for Al Horford. I don't understand what the philosophy was and the whole, acquiring, Al Horford. I just don't. Yeah. I just don't. I mean, I like Al Horford for a player. I really love his defensive tenacity. I love his grit. I love his work ethic. I just think he's in a wrong system. I think
absolutely.
I think they got him playing like he's a fish, but they ain't giving him no water.
Right. Yeah. I think the idea was, well, he guards Embiid better than anybody. So let's bring him to our team, and then we don't have to deal with that. And then they want to load up on size. So when
really,
Milwaukee,
did really Harford really guard Embiid all that well? Really?
Well, as well as you can. Embiid.
Yeah,
but Embiid still got his though. So he didn't shut Embiid down. Embiid still got his. Right. So like why would you put him on this team the way it's constructed?
Yeah, it hasn't worked out.
And they compounded it by giving him a 4-year, like $100 million deal, and he's already 33. Like, you're gonna be paying him $25+ million at 37.
Yeah,
and good. My team, like,
you're not even, and there's no way you're trading that contract ever, unless you get like a desperate team that's looking to take on salary for draft picks or something. But like, it's going to be extremely hard to ever move that contract when you ultimately realize that it's not going to work.
This is what you got to do. You got to go for it now. You got to put a package together like, You gotta be like, you gotta call Portland and be like, I'm gonna give you Al Horford and oh my God, I wouldn't want to get rid of him, but I would just probably have to get rid of him. But I don't want to get rid of him. Al Horford and dang, I just got his name that great. Al Forward. What's Al Forward name?
Tobias.
I would have to get rid of. I would put like Tobias, although I would not want to get rid of him. But this is the only way I think you can get it done. You got to get rid of Tobias, Al Horford, and like 3 first-round draft picks. And you call Portland and say, can we have Damian Lillard and some expiring contract?
Right.
That's the only way I can see that working. And then if you can have like, if you got a 3 of Embiid, Ben, and Dame Dash, woo-hoo-hoo.
Yeah. So you don't want to break up Embiid and Simmons? A lot of people want to break up Embiid and Simmons.
I think Embiid and Simmons can work without the coach. I think if you put a coach with a different philosophy, they can make that work because Ben Simmons reminds me a lot of Magic Johnson. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. I say that all the time.
And I think that he has the capabilities, he has the basketball IQ. And I think he has the tenacity to be able to move that offense. And the coach, if you put a new coach in here and put Embiid and let Embiid dominate the paint, and then you have somebody like Dame, I mean, how could you stop that? Like, really, how could you stop that? It's like, pick your poison. Who's going to be the poison for tonight? You going to let Embiid dominate and get 40 and 10? You gonna let Dame get, 30 and 8, or you gonna let Ben get 25 and 15? Like, pick your poison. Yeah. So you ain't think the big money guy had basketball IQ? I know. You try to stay.
Oh no. Listen. Philly is, everybody from Philly knows about basketball. I grew up with a Philly guy. Everybody from Philly knows basketball.
That's good. That's good stuff. Maybe your next stop is GM of the Sixers.
I wouldn't want that guy.
Yeah, that's a tough job.
With that fan base, that's a ton of pressure.
I wouldn't want to be the GM. You know what I would want to be?
Who?
I want to be the owner.
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Not negotiable. But I think Elton Brand, I think he has the basketball IQ to be a great general manager, but I don't think he got no control. I still think it is Coach Brown's. I think Coach Brown is running the whole organization behind the scenes. And that's why I don't think that we will ever win. And that's why I don't think that Jimmy Butler re-signed with us, because he saw what was going on and he was like, I don't want to be no parts of this right here. Yeah. And watch it, you best believe, Embiid is going to find a way to get to Miami and play with Jimmy Butler again.
Yeah, that was his boy.
Could you imagine if they kept that squad together? I want to know why. Like, it had to be something deep if Jimmy Butler wouldn't even entertain an offer from the Sixers. Like, they gave him next, and he was just like, no, I'm going somewhere else. Like what has to be happening in that locker room?
Yeah.
For the four horsemen to go back on the old wrestling term to want to break up. It's got to be the coach, man.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. So NBA coming back. Who you got taking it all this year?
One, I know everybody think it's going to be the Clippers and the Lakers in the Western Conference Championship, but I'm going to shock you. One of those teams is going to get knocked out. I don't think it's
Okay.
going to be the Clippers and the Lakers. I think it's going to be an upset city. Upset city. I can't believe I'm saying this. Because you know I'm a real diehard Sixers fan. I tell you, I want the Lakers to win the championship.
Yeah.
The only reason why I want the Lakers to win is because I'm a LeBron James fan. I like LeBron James.
Yeah.
I think that he's really good for the game of basketball. I think he's like the perfect kind of ambassador that the game needs. And I want to see him win because he does so much for the game. He does so much for his community. He does so much for the players. I mean, I kind of admire that in him. He's one of my favorite basketball players. So I'm rooting for him. I'm kind of torn because I want to see Lou Williams at the Clippers, get a ring. Because I like Lou. I was mad that the Sixers let him go, but that's a different story. So I'm kind of rooting for Lou. But one of them teams, the Lakers or the Clippers, they're not going to come out the West. Somebody's going to get upset. I don't know which one of them is. Like I said, I'm rooting for LeBron. But it will be an epic Western Conference championship if the Lakers and the Clippers played. And I think the Sixers, unfortunately, is not going to make it either. Well, a lot of people are picking them to come out of the East to maybe give a shot, a push. But I think that I don't think that we have the mental tenacity to get over the hump this year, sadly. And I say that as a proud Sixers fan. And in some regards, I know I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. I kind of want them to lose so they can get rid of Brett Brown. I know I shouldn't say
legitimate.
that. I know I shouldn't say that. I know that's a bad thing to say, but I'm gonna say it anyway because I'm from Philly.
Yeah.
I want the Sixers to lose so they can get rid of Brett Brown. But I don't think Boston's coming out of the East.
No.
I don't know. The East is wide open, and that's the thing that makes me
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it's like I don't really think Milwaukee got it.
Must be Toronto.
Toronto, like this is the perfect like lineup for us to go to the championship this year.
Yeah.
But we don't
still can't see it happening. Yeah.
I mean, because like how many times do you see Brett Brown get outcoached last year?
I mean, especially when you're talking about playoffs, there's just too many to count, man.
How many times
few.
did you see last year? Let's just think of last year in the playoffs. We ain't even gonna talk about the whole year. But when you saw his rotation, you like, why? What's going on? Like, why these guys out here playing? How many times did you do that? How many times did you almost break your TV last year in the playoffs? How many times?
Too many times to count, man. Too many times.
Oh gosh. So that's crazy. So what do you guys think? Who do you think is gonna come out of the East?
Probably Milwaukee. I like Philly maybe more than anybody else. I mean, I'm a Toronto fan actually, so I'm biased towards them because I'm from Pittsburgh, so we don't have a team there. So I like Milwaukee just because they have Giannis and he's the best player by far. So I think probably them.
Excuse me, who's the best player by far?
Giannis is the best player in the East.
Giannis is the best player in the East?
Who's better?
JoJo's better first than Giannis.
Maybe. I mean, back-to-back MVP.
Come on. If JoJo had a coach that could push in the right direction, JoJo would be the best player in the NBA because he got all of the skills. He got all of the talent. He could go inside. He could go outside. He got a dribble. He plays defense when he wants to, and that's what a good coach will bring out, that all-around game. And he could be the most dominant, effective player in the – he could be almost AI stature here in Philly.
Well, I hope he does.
Yeah.
But he's not yet.
Yeah.
If JoJo's hitting his jump shot just like AI, you can't stop him. When AI was hitting his jump shot, you couldn't stop AI. If JoJo can come down and hit that jump shot, you can't stop him because you can't guard him. You can't guard him. You can't play up close to him because he got the speed to run right around you. And you can't play back of him because he can hit the J.
Yeah.
Giannis ain't got no jump shot. If you stop Giannis from going to the basket, he's done. He's an average player.
Yeah, and Toronto did that last year in the playoffs, so we'll see.
Why
I think Philly's equipped it.
Why you think that they didn't win?
Yeah,
Giannis got to get a J. Giannis get a J.
Absolutely.
Giannis need a J. Giannis get a J. Whoo!
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's scary. Giannis with a jump shot. Whoo!
Yeah. I honestly don't even know who to pick out of the East. It's like, because I don't trust the Bucks. You know, it's like, who do you trust?
I don't trust any of them. I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, like, you know, because especially what we just talked about, like Giannis showed a lot of flaws. Like, and there's teams that can stop him from getting to the basket in the East. You know, the Raptors can still do it. The Heat can still do it. You know what I mean?
So watch out
like,
for Boston, though, man.
Yeah, and Jason Tatum's a killer.
I know.
Like,
you gotta watch out for Boston. I hate
you come in late games, ball in his hands, anything. You know what I mean? Those kind of games can go.
Now check this out. Wouldn't it be great if the Sixers and the Celtics was in the championship for the East, and the Lakers and the Clippers was in the West?
I don't think the NBA could ever be happier.
Yeah, right.
Huh?
I think Adam Silver would have a stroke
But I'm just saying,
if he got that Final Four.
That would be fun.
That would be
Yeah,
incredible to watch. Those are the Battle of LA versus Sixers Celtics, one of the most like popular rivalries.
It would be the
history.
two most televised series probably in the history in the NBA.
Right.
And at a time like this, where they're not going to have fans,
they might try to push for that. They might tell the refs we need this to happen.
you know what? I think I'm gonna hit up FanDuel and put my money down on that now.
If that's the case, the Sixers and the Lakers back in the championship.
It's been a while since we've seen that.
That's what I'm saying. Wouldn't it be classic?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not bougie or ratchet. It would just be classic.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
man.
what else you got?
I think that's it, Mike. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. Yeah. Do you want to give a hot take on the Eagles before you go?
The Eagles is going to be they're going to surprise people this year. Okay. And I'm telling you, that rookie wide receiver, I forgot his name right now, but they first round.
Jalen Reagor.
Yo, he going to be the sleep. I'm calling him Killer Sensation.
Yeah. I told you.
Killer
He
Sensation.
did.
And I think you know who will have a big year this year? Mark this one down. Put this in the bank. Bet on this like you bet on your 401k. Deshaun Jackson is going to kill him this year.
Yeah,
Okay.
D-Jax.
Deshaun Jackson. Wow. Deshaun Jackson is going to kill him this year. Because he got something to prove. Because everybody talk about he washed up. Everybody talk about he lost the step. Everybody talk about he don't have no heart. He don't want to go over the center of the field. He can't outrun nobody. He going to kill him this year. Watch this thing.
Yeah, and that's the Eagles like. I like. Yeah, and before he got hurt last year, he had that huge game against the Redskins. So I think like he has a good rapport with Wentz. I think, I think he could absolutely have a surprising like big year this year.
Only thing I'm worried about right now for the Eagles is the left tackle.
Yeah, no more Jason Peters. Yeah.
Yo, man, you gotta have somebody to watch Carson on the blind side. Because Carson gets a little blind sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yes, absolutely.
You gotta have somebody to protect. You gotta have somebody to protect that side, man. I'm kind of hoping that the Eagles will bring him back. And even if we only can get him for 10 good games or 9 good games, on the left side. There's been some games where he got some exposed, but overall, he's been a constant staple. And I would love to see Sanders like follow him up the gut because he knows how to make a hole for a running back and run through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
All right, man. Well, we really appreciate you coming on. Jeffrey Moore, founder and CEO, Moore Financial Solutions. His book, My Cash Value is King, available on Amazon. We read it. We both loved it. Go out, buy this book. Go to his website, like he mentioned. We really appreciate you. This has been a lot of fun, man.
All right, thanks a lot, man. I appreciate you guys. Have a
All
great
right,
night.
we'll talk soon. You too.
Thank you. You too.
All right.
Well, that guy's awesome.
Yeah. Excellent interview again. Thanks to Jeff Moore for coming on and spreading some insights and knowledge and talking some sports with us. Great interview, great guy to know. So absolutely, guys, highly recommend go get that book. Educate yourselves. It's an easy read. Like he said, he purposely made it that way. And he's not exaggerating. And I'm not even exaggerating that it's extremely easy read and easy to understand. And you can tell that it's designed to do so. So highly recommend, 10 out of 10, all that.
Yeah. It's only like 110 pages. I read it one sitting. So, if you're not a big reader, you still, I would definitely still grab it. It's not that bad. I think you can get the Kindle version we had talked about. But we would definitely appreciate him coming on. So this was episode 11. Like, rate, subscribe, leave a review if you really like this a lot. That means a lot. Retweet all those good things. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at all_in_pod. Follow the Rain and Bliss podcast. They're gonna be coming out June 16th is that first episode. And check in with our website, allinnetwork.net. We got a lot of things going on there, a lot of things cooking. And we're going to be adding some more podcasts to this network soon. So things are looking up. I'm excited.
Absolutely. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode 11 of the All In podcast. Again, you guys' support means everything. So thank you.